Hello and welcome back to the Eyes of Ode gaming channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today I have another older game in my What Is It and Is It Worth It game review series. In this video I will go through the various aspects of the game, trying my best to avoid spoilers for new players, and give examples of similar games as well as my personal opinion as to whether I would recommend the game with a thumbs up or thumbs down, and if I personally enjoyed it. I won't be giving a number rating to the game as many other channels do, as I find this to be a very arbitrary way of rating games, which like any other entertainment is completely subjective, and instead I prefer to give enough info for you to make a decision on your own if you would like to go forward with picking up this title for yourself. First-person action set in an open world, a charismatic antagonist with a cult-like following, and grappling hooks. That's right, today we're exploring another Far Cry game. This time, Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 was developed by Ubisoft Montreal and Ubisoft Toronto and published by Ubisoft, releasing back in 2018. So let's take a look at Far Cry 5 together and see how it's held up and if it's still worth picking up today, while attempting to answer the most important question I try to answer in this review series: is this game worth it for you? So without any further ado, let's get into it. In a very slight shift from the standard Far Cry formula of setting the game in the East, with the most recent entries usually taking place in a fictional Asian or Southeast Asian country undergoing a civil war, we're moving to the West for Far Cry 5. This time we are set in a fictional territory of Hope County within the northwestern region of the USA in an in-game version of Montana. Sticking true to the standard Far Cry formula we have come to expect, you'll be fighting on the side of a ragtag group of underdogs going up against a cult-like charismatic leader running a militaristic dictatorship over the region. It is an interesting location change from the previous games, being a very different environment and political makeup of the area. Expect a similar gameplay experience to previous entries, however, as although it may have moved to a unique landscape, the general plot will be very similar to previous games. Though games in the Far Cry series typically have a couple of unique story points which keep the narrative going, they tend to follow a basic equation now. You'll take on the role of the protagonist who ends up pushed into a conflict between the leader of the bad guys, helping the ragtag group of rebels and freedom fighters to remove the antagonist's influence from the map. In this go-round, the leader will have a few top-level officers who you'll need to deal with first, each one having their own province within the territory. The story itself is interesting as you'll begin the game as a rookie deputy attempting to arrest the cult leader Joseph Seed. As expected, this does not go according to plan and the game will kick off from here. When we take a look at mechanics, expect a typical Far Cry experience. If you have played a previous Far Cry game, it will feel very similar, especially if you played Far Cry 4. For those who haven't played a Far Cry game, it is essentially a first-person shooter set in an open world. There are some RPG elements with picking perks and a crafting system built into the game. Perks are gained by completing various challenges in the game, from using specific weapons to take out enemies, hunting or fishing challenges, or even rescuing civilians, along with many others. Once perk points are unlocked, they are spent on various upgrades to better prepare yourself for the dangers you will encounter. Combat is very fluid as with other Far Cry games, employing a weapon wheel for fast swapping, and a strong emphasis on stealth mechanics. Typically, you will be pushed to at least attempt stealth, as completing objectives such as liberating outposts will offer a greater reward for not setting off alarms or being spotted. Though guns blazing is always a valid backup plan, or you could always charge in shooting if you prefer. This time around, you'll need to complete objectives within the regions of the commanders, taking them out first, before a head-on assault of the leader. I found that the series keeps taking steps towards gamer convenience at the detriment of immersion, as the game now tells you exactly how many of each objective is in each region and giving you more gameplay data rather than just leaving things ambiguous and requiring the exploration. Personally, I have very mixed feelings on this, as the convenience is nice, especially for completionist gamers. However, there is something that seems to be lost by this change. Instead of the old exploration and finding missions you would not have been aware of without discovery through exploring the world. Graphics in Far Cry 5 are very good. I don't think there's much to talk about in this area, as Ubisoft typically delivers in this department. Even going back a couple of entries in the series, I personally feel that the graphics are still very passable today, and this one is just an improvement on everything that has come before. The NPCs look great, environments are amazing, and I did not encounter any graphical bugs or glitches. The change in geography means that the environments will be different. However, the mountainous terrain did give me some similar vibes to Far Cry 4's Kyrat region. Far Cry 5 has really expanded on the guns for hire concept that was introduced in Far Cry 4, taking a more similar approach to companions as Far Cry Primal. A very interesting mechanic within this is that aside from the standard scripted companions, many of the random civilians can be conscripted into your service as well. The standard followers or specialists are typically stronger, especially side by side with NPC fighters when they are first recruited. However, it does add an element of player agency within the game that I thought was a very neat addition. There are only a few slots for hiring your resistance fighters, though they can be replaced with others that you meet along the way. They also have a very limited experience progression system, gaining additional abilities as they get more kills. Another fun feature in Far Cry 5 is the weapon and vehicle customization. You'll need to first purchase or unlock the said weapon or vehicle, and once you do, you can purchase various add-on attachments and skins. Again, this is a great way to give players a unique experience, especially with the choice of different weapon attachments, allowing for different approaches to missions. Sound is that of typical Ubisoft fashion, being very good quality. Weapons, vehicles, dialogue, all very good in this title, and I don't have anything to complain about. Of course, the radio options are quite limited compared to other titles. However, I didn't find this to be a big point of concern, as you'll have enough action during driving sequences that you won't be focused on the radio too much.
Rook, put the cuffs on him.
I'm ordering you to stand back. They ambushed him. He's dead.
For comparisons, we obviously have other Far Cry games. Far Cry 4 is very similar with the mountainous terrain, similar story elements, and overall gameplay style. The big difference is going to be the change with regard to more permanent guns for hire or companions, which you will have traveling with you during missions. Far Cry Primal may be a better comparison regarding the companion style, with gameplay being similar though with obvious technology differences between the titles. If you're looking for some similar comparisons outside of the franchise, Dying Light also has first-person action in an open world, along with a crafting system built in, though Far Cry will have a greater emphasis on action gunplay, as it does not have the parkour element that's found in Dying Light. The Metro series offers first-person action, though in a much more linear way and built within the horror setting. We also have Mad Max, which has the open world element, substantial driving sequences, and some RPG elements with regard to skill progression, though instead it is set in a third-person perspective. So now that we've looked at some of the features of the game, we reach the point of my review where I give a more subjective look at my personal experience with it. Please keep in mind that the following is just my opinion of the game, and if the features and genre seem interesting to you, you should definitely check it out for yourself, as not all games are for all gamers. The game that you hate might be the next gamer's all-time favorite, which is one of the things that I love about gaming. There's always something for someone out there. So looking at the completely subjective question of did I personally enjoy the game and do I recommend this to first-time players?
Yep.
Yes, it's a Far Cry. Maybe it's not my favorite Far Cry, but titles in this franchise are typically of high quality production with smooth gameplay experiences. As long as you don't mind the fact that the stories in the games, although different on paper, really are extremely similar, then this could be a really great experience for you. Honestly, I don't even mind that the stories seem to follow a very similar structure, as regardless they are well made and fun to play. I tend to think of the Far Cry series as the video game equivalent of Michael Bay films, filled with shooting, explosions, and intense driving sequences, though they really don't go much deeper than that. Possibly you could look to the earlier releases to argue the story side, however the direction that they have been going with the last few releases is definitely trending in this direction. Regardless, this is a fun title with mechanics, graphics, and sound that all hold up really well today, and you can probably pick it up at a good discount due to it being out for a few years. If you're looking for an option with a ton of content, consider looking at the Season Pass as well. It comes with 3 expansions offering unique gameplay from the main game experience. I've also done review showcases of these and will leave links if you're interested. So I hope you enjoyed this look at Far Cry 5. Have you played the game already? If so, let me know what you thought of the review and if you agreed or disagreed with my personal opinions on it. Also, if you found this review informative or entertaining, please consider giving me a like here and also subscribing to the channel. I upload a variety of gaming content and would really appreciate the feedback as well as you joining the community and helping to direct the future of the channel. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching today, and until next time, take care.
Sometimes the best thing to do is to walk away.